My name is Cannon, and I never thought my own brother would betray me the way Derek did. For 8 months, I'd been trapped in a nightmare, living in an apartment with Derek and his so-called best friend, Marcus. What started as a temporary living situation turned into something I couldn't escape from, literally. "Cannon, get in here!" Marcus's voice boomed from the living room that morning. "I need you to clean up this mess before I head out." "I'm getting ready for work," I called back, stuffing the last of my clothes into my backpack. "I don't care what you're doing. Get out here now." I clenched my jaw and walked into the living room. Marcus sat on the couch, his feet kicked up on the coffee table, surrounded by empty beer bottles and takeout containers. "This is your mess, Marcus," I said. "Clean it yourself." He stood up, getting in my face. "What did you just say to me?" "I said clean it yourself. I'm not your servant." Marcus grabbed my shirt. "You live here rent-free because of me. Derek brought you in as a favor, but I'm the one who pays most of the bills. You'll do what I say." "I pay my share," I said, pulling away from him. "And I'm done with your control games." Derek walked out of his room, rubbing his eyes. "What's going on?" "Your brother's getting an attitude," Marcus said. "You need to remind him how things work around here." Derek looked at me, then at Marcus. "Cannon, just clean it up. It's not worth the fight." "No," I said firmly. "I'm leaving for work." But I wasn't going to work. Today was the day I was finally escaping. I'd saved enough money, booked a one-way ticket to California where my mom lived, and packed my essentials. My flight was at 2 p.m., and I'd planned everything perfectly. I went back to my room and reached for my wallet where I kept my driver's license and passport. My stomach dropped. The wallet was there, but both documents were gone. "No, no, no," I muttered, tearing through my backpack. I checked every pocket, every compartment, nothing. I stormed into the living room. "Where are they?" "Where's what?" Marcus asked with a smirk. "My passport and ID. They were in my wallet last night." Derek avoided my eyes. "How should we know? You probably misplaced them." "I didn't misplace anything," I shouted. "One of you took them." "Why would we take your documents?" Marcus said, standing up. "You're being paranoid." "Because you knew," I said, my heart racing. "You somehow knew I was leaving today." Derek's face went pale. "Cannon, don't lie to me, Derek. You went through my stuff, didn't you?" "I was protecting you," Derek said quietly. "Protecting me? From what?" Marcus stepped between us. "For making a stupid mistake. You've got it good here, Cannon. Running away to California? To do what? Mooch off your mom?" "That's none of your business," I said. "It is my business when you owe me money," Marcus said. "I don't owe you anything. 3 months of utilities, groceries I've covered, the security deposit I paid when your broke self moved in. That's about $2,000. "You're insane," I said. "I've paid my share of everything." "Not according to my records," Marcus said, pulling out his phone. "Derek and I keep track. You're not going anywhere until you pay up." I looked at my brother. "Derek, you know this is a lie. Tell him." Derek wouldn't meet my eyes. "Marcus is right. You do owe money. You're choosing him over your own brother?" "I'm just stating facts," Derek said. "Give me my documents back," I demanded. "Can't give back what we don't have," Marcus said. "Now, are you going to clean up this mess, or do we have a problem?" I realized then that I was dealing with something worse than I'd thought. This wasn't just Marcus being controlling. Derek was actively helping him trap me here. "This isn't over," I said, walking back to my room. I grabbed my phone and called my mom. "Cannon, hi, sweetie," she answered. "Mom, I need help," I said, my voice shaking. "Derek stole my passport and ID. I can't leave." "What? Why would he do that?" "Because Marcus told him to. Mom, I'm trapped here." My mom didn't hesitate. "I'm calling a lawyer right now. Stay on the phone with me." "I can't. They'll hear me," I whispered. "I'll call you back in an hour." I hung up and sat on my bed, my mind racing. Without my ID, I couldn't board a plane, couldn't even check into a hotel. Marcus had effectively imprisoned me. An hour later, I snuck out while Derek and Marcus were in Derek's room. I walked to a coffee shop 3 blocks away and called my mom back. "Okay, I spoke with a lawyer named Patricia Chen," Mom said. "She handles family disputes and theft cases. Can you talk to her now?" "Yes, please." Mom conference called her in. "Cannon, this is Patricia Chen. Your mother explained the situation. I need you to tell me everything." I explained how Marcus had been controlling my life, demanding I do chores, monitoring who I talked to, guilt-tripping me with fake debts, and how he'd convinced Derek to steal my documents. "Has Marcus ever physically harmed you?" Patricia asked. "He's grabbed me a few times, gotten in my face, but no punches or anything." "That's still assault. And the document theft is a serious crime. Does Derek know where your passport and ID are?" "He has to. He took them." "Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to contact the police and file a report for theft of government documents. That's a federal offense. Then we're going to get you an emergency replacement ID." "How long will that take?" For the police report, we can do it today. Emergency ID can be issued within 48 hours if we explain the situation. But, Cannon, I need you to be honest with me. Is there any truth to Marcus's claim that you owe money? None. I've paid my third of rent and utilities every month. I have bank statements proving it. Perfect. Send those to me. Also, do you have any evidence of Marcus's controlling behavior? Texts, recordings, anything? I have texts where he demands I ask permission before leaving the apartment, and messages where he threatens to kick me out if I don't do what he says. Send me everything. We're building a case here. After the call, I went to the police station. Detective James Morrison took my statement. So your brother stole your passport and driver's license? He asked, typing on his computer. Yes, sir. Last night. I was supposed to fly to California this afternoon. And you believe he did this at the request of his roommate, Marcus? Marcus Thornton, I said. He's been controlling where I go, who I talk to, what I do. My brother helps him. That's concerning. Has Marcus ever threatened you? Yes. He said I couldn't leave until I paid him money I don't actually owe. Detective Morrison leaned back in his chair. That sounds like coercion. What you're describing could constitute false imprisonment, especially if they're preventing you from leaving by withholding your identification documents. Can you help me get them back? I'll pay them a visit. But first, I need you to show me your bank records proving you've paid your share of expenses and any threatening messages from Marcus. I showed him everything on my phone. He took photos of the evidence. All right, Cannon, I'm going to go have a conversation with your brother and Mr. Thornton. In the meantime, you should go to the DMV and start the process for an emergency ID replacement. Tell them your documents were stolen and show them this police report number. What if Derek and Marcus deny everything? Then we'll escalate. But theft of government documents is serious. If your brother refuses to return them, he's committing a federal crime. Most people crack when they realize that. Detective Morrison called me 3 hours later. Cannon, I need you to come back to the station. Bring your lawyer if possible. Patricia met me there. When we walked into the interview room, Derek and Marcus were already seated with their own lawyer, a nervous-looking guy named Richard something. Gentlemen, thank you for coming in, Detective Morrison said. Mr. Derek Jensen, Mr. Marcus Thornton, this is serious. We're investigating the theft of federal documents, specifically Cannon's passport and driver's license. We already told you we don't have them, Marcus said. Then you won't mind if we search your apartment with a warrant? Detective Morrison asked. Derek's face went white. Wait, Derek, shut up, Marcus hissed. No, I'm not going to shut up, Derek suddenly shouted. I'm not going to prison for you. Derek, their lawyer started. It's in my room, Derek said, looking at me with tears in his eyes. I'm sorry, Cannon. I'm so sorry. Marcus said if I didn't take them, he'd kick me out. I couldn't afford to lose the apartment. Where in your room? Detective Morrison asked. In my nightstand, top drawer under some papers. Marcus jumped up. You idiot! We could have just denied everything. Sit down, Mr. Thornton, Detective Morrison said firmly. Derek, I'm going to send officers to retrieve the documents. You're going to give them permission to enter, correct? Yes, Derek said quietly. Patricia leaned forward. Detective, I'd like to add that my client has evidence of systematic coercion and control by Mr. Thornton, financial manipulation, movement restrictions, and threats. I never threatened anyone, Marcus said. I pulled out my phone. Really? Because I have a text from you saying, if you leave this apartment without my permission again, I'll make sure you regret it. That was from last week. That was taken out of context, Marcus said. What about the one where you said, you work for me now? Don't forget that? I scrolled through my messages. Or this one, tell your mom you're fine, or I'll make your life hell here. Detective Morrison took my phone. Mr. Thornton, these messages paint a very clear picture of coercive control. Combined with the theft of documents to prevent Mr. Jensen from leaving, we're looking at potential charges of false imprisonment. That's ridiculous, Marcus said. He could have left any time. The door wasn't locked. But he couldn't get on a plane without ID, Patricia interjected. He couldn't check into a hotel, couldn't even buy a bus ticket. Your actions, combined with Derek's theft, effectively imprisoned my client. Marcus's lawyer whispered something to him. I want a deal, Marcus finally said. What kind of deal? Detective Morrison asked. I'll admit I told Derek to hide the documents, but only because Cannon actually did owe me money. This was a civil dispute, not a crime. Except Cannon has bank records proving he paid his share, Patricia said, sliding papers across the table. Every single month, you fabricated the debt to maintain control over him. Derek broke down completely. I'm sorry, Cannon. I'm so sorry. He said he'd ruin my credit, that he'd tell everyone I was a deadbeat. I was scared. You were scared? I said, my voice breaking. I was terrified every single day. You knew what he was doing to me, and you helped him. Mr. Derek Jensen? Detective Morrison said. "You're being charged with theft of government documents. Mr. Marcus Thornton, you're being charged with coercion and conspiracy to commit theft. You both have the right to remain silent." 2 months later, I sat in a California apartment I shared with my mom, watching the sentencing hearing via video call. The judge read the verdicts. "Mr. Derek Jensen, you've pleaded guilty to theft of government documents. I'm sentencing you to 18 months in federal prison, suspended to 1 year with 3 years of probation. You're also ordered to pay $5,000 in restitution to your brother for emotional distress and lost wages." Derek kept his head down. He'd written me a letter apologizing, begging for forgiveness. I hadn't responded. Maybe someday I'd be able to talk to him again, but not now. Not after what he'd cost me. "Mr. Marcus Thornton," the judge continued, "you've been found guilty of coercion, conspiracy to commit theft, and false imprisonment. The evidence shows a pattern of controlling and manipulative behavior designed to keep Mr. Cannon Jensen trapped in your apartment against his will. I'm sentencing you to 3 years in federal prison with no possibility of early parole." Marcus's face went red. "This is insane. 3 years for— You stole federal documents to imprison someone," the judge said coldly. "You manipulated his brother into helping you. You fabricated debts and used threats to maintain control. You're lucky I'm not adding more time. Bailiff, remove Mr. Thornton from the court." Patricia called me after the hearing. "How are you feeling?" "Relieved," I said honestly, "but also sad. Derek wasn't always like this. Marcus changed him." "Derek made his choices," Patricia said gently, "and now he has to live with the consequences. But Cannon, you should be proud. You escaped. You fought back the right way, and you won." She was right. I'd gotten my documents back, my freedom back, and my life back. I'd enrolled in community college, got a part-time job, and was rebuilding my life on my own terms. My mom walked into my room with tea. "You okay?" "Yeah, Mom, I'm good. I'm proud of you," she said, hugging me. "You could have stayed silent, stayed trapped, but you fought for yourself." "I learned something important," I said. "Real strength isn't about revenge. It's about standing up for yourself and using the right channels to get justice. Marcus thought he could control me forever. Derek thought I'd just accept what they did, but they were wrong." "They definitely were," Mom agreed. I looked out the window at the California sunset. For the first time in almost a year, I felt truly free. No more walking on eggshells. No more asking permission to live my life. No more fear. Have you ever had someone try to control your life or trap you in a bad situation? What would you have done in my position? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.